Yo, hey, what's going on everybody? Alex with you here again. Thanks for dropping by. It's always great to see you guys. Hopefully you guys are having a good week. I wanted to make this brief video, sort of a continuation of my review and looking at the Millennium King Performance chessboard. The initial video to which I've done probably almost over a year ago. Time does fly pretty quick, but it seemed like it's been quite a while. And more specifically, I was super excited to make this video simply because just recently, in fact a week ago, I ordered the Chess Link, which is an additional accessory which you can purchase for the Millennium King Performance and also I believe for the Millennium 55 board and maybe a couple of other ones. Long story short, this accessory allows you to basically turn the Millennium King Performance board, which is initially an offline board, into an online board. Basically, it's a module that connects to the King Performance board that allows it to be able to connect via Bluetooth USB to your phone or an iPad and be able to play games against real people on places like chess.com and Lichess. Okay, so I actually received this accessory on Saturday. I purchased it on Amazon. Now, if you're looking to buy this accessory, price-wise, this particular Chess Link will cost you somewhere between $99 to $150, depending on where you look. I believe on House of Staunton it retails for about $150, but a lot of times House of Staunton will run all kinds of different savings and sales, all type of stuff. And if you're fortunate enough to find the bigger sales, which happen usually around the holidays, you might be able to get it for a price close to $100, which is what I paid for it online on Amazon. I could have purchased it on House of Staunton, and thinking back, I probably would have been better off purchasing it on House of Staunton. Let me just explain in a minute why I'm telling you this, but I bought it new from a reputable seller from Amazon, and it came within a couple of days because I did pay for the expedited shipping. I paid like $11 or $12 and received it within a couple of days. It came in one of those little bubble wrap tape bags, essentially, those Amazon bags that are usually used to ship small items like this. And was left at my doorstep like two days after I ordered it. Great. That's why I love Amazon, because they ship things fast. The very first thing that I noticed when I opened the bag is this box. That was the only thing in there. But the box, if we look a little bit closely, right over here, I saw a little bit of a spot where it looked like it was damaged. That was not my doing. That was how it came. And I thought to myself, well, things like that happen during shipping maybe. Perhaps my package was somewhere underneath other packages and it ended up getting squashed a little bit, no big deal. The box itself was here taped with that circular little tape that is usually found on a lot of shipping boxes or whatever. So I opened it up, and when you open this up inside, the first thing that you notice is an instruction manual that's kind of thick, but it comes in all kinds of different languages. Basically it tells you how to operate the device. And then inside here we see that on this side we have the actual Chess Link module. And then on the other side is nothing more than a space holder, essentially a little cardboard over here that's kind of see-through. And that's what it looks like. It's just, I think what it's meant to do as far as functionalities, it's meant to prevent this unit from basically falling back and forth inside of this thing and getting damaged, so it just keeps it in place. That's just for shipping purposes. And then we have the actual Chess Link right over here, the Millennium Chess Link. Okay, really cool little, actually a little bit of a small item and super light. I was expecting it to be a little bit beefier, but yeah, really nice and compact little item. I'm not sure if it'll focus, but over here on the back we have all the different connections. Starting off with, on this side, we have the 9 volt DC input for your power. Then followed by what may look like an old mouse connector to like the old mouse computers, the little circular with a bunch of pins. That is the connection that you're going to use with a separate cord to connect to your board. In my case, it would be the Performance King board. Subsequently, we have a giant USB port right over here that's kind of similar to like the USB ports present on some of the old printers. And then the last one right over here, we have the on-off switch. It's an actual physical switch that turns off and on. That's all cool. And then on the very front of it, we have these sort of like a couple of LED lights, one of which is a power on and a status, okay? Now once you turn this little object on, the power on button should light up, I think, in red, and then the status is in green. On the back here, it's kind of really nicely made that you have these sort of little rubber legs that'll prevent the unit from sliding around, and very good for, you know, if you just put it on the table, it'll kind of keep it in place there. And additionally, right over here we have these little like little tiny sort of spaces that I guess your device here could be used to mount to the wall, if that might be more convenient for you, I guess. But it seems like, yeah, it's got two little sort of indentations here where you can like have a couple of screws on the wall and just can mount it that way. And if you want to save space, I suppose. On the back here it says ChessLink Millennium. Here it has a Bluetooth. Tells you that you need to make sure that you have a 9-volt power supply, okay? Additionally, what came in the box, my box here, is we have the space holder. We have an additional thing here in like 45,000 languages that basically tells us that if you have any trouble, go to our website and find out more information, some stuff like that. A little warranty card in the back here, and yeah, that's about all that came in my box. And the very first thing that I thought to myself, okay, when I was looking at the back of this, I thought, okay, so it does come with, it does need some power. So it needs a 9-volt DC. It didn't come with any cords or anything. It just came, that's all that came in my box. I thought, okay, well, maybe if we use the cord, the connection cord that was actually present with my Millennium King Performance board, the cord, that mouse looking cord, if I connect that box to the board, and maybe through this particular cord we're going to supply power to the device itself, so maybe we don't even need that external power. That was my reasoning. I thought, okay, let's try it out. So I connected everything. I connected this to my board. I turned on my board. None of the LED blinkers came on. I thought, okay, well, maybe it does need power. But then my board needs power, so if I were to power this on, I'd have to find a way to have another cord. Now this cord that initially came with the Millennium King Performance board, that's the one that seems to also provide that 9-volt power that's necessary. Now when you plug it in here, nothing happens. And then you turn on and off. I guess I was hoping that I'm not like misunderstanding something, but I would assume that if you plug the power into the device, then at least the power indicator should come on, even if we're not connected to the board. Nothing happened. I tried all kinds of different ways. I've tried connecting the USB to the board. I tried connecting USB to a computer. I tried connecting USB to a power supply. I tried connecting this to the board. I tried connecting it to my wall outlet, and I didn't get nothing. I didn't get any beeps. I didn't get any LED indicators. So that's my update. I initially got this on Saturday, and I was hoping I'd spend the weekend learning how to operate with it, how to connect it, how to use the software to play online. Unfortunately, I'm making this video update because some people were hoping that I'd make this video, but without much with regards to the ChessLink besides just looking at its physical characteristics, okay, and kind of giving you an idea as far as price. I'm going to be sending this back. I was hoping that I could communicate with the seller on Amazon directly and tell them, like, am I doing something wrong? Because first of all, there was no cables. Is that normal? Second of all, you know, am I missing something? Is it supposed to light up when I plug it in or not? And is it some kind of a thing? Because I mean, it could be perfectly in functional condition. I might just be thinking something and not really, you know, utilizing it how I'm supposed to. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. When I went to Amazon, there was no option, at least none available directly, that I could contact the seller. It just said if you would like to, if you have any questions or concerns about the item, you can talk to our Amazon virtual assistant AI. So the AI obviously prompted me to a chat box, and the chat box was like, how can I help you? Blah, 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 blah. State your name, state your problem, like immediately. So you're like, okay, I'm clearly not communicating with the live individual. That's just a computer. Briefly state your issue. Okay, I said I received the item. The box looked like it was damaged. The item is not turning on. There was no cords that I needed. Maybe it's a defective item. They were like, we're very sorry to hear that you're dissatisfied with your order. Would you like to initiate a return? I'm like, actually, I just kind of wanted to talk to somebody. But, you know, they were like, meh. So, basically, long story short, I initiated a return on this order. I really wanted to get to the bottom of why it's doing what it's doing. But I will be returning it, unfortunately, and hopefully within a couple of days, I'll probably order another one through House of Staunton. And maybe use that way instead. Or maybe I'll just order it from Chess House. I think Chess House sells it too for about $150. I might do that. Now, I want to kind of spend a little bit more time talking about the Millennium King Performance chessboard, okay? Just as a way to revisit it. I don't want to waste any more of your time, but initially when I did the review of this board, I spoke a lot at length about all the advantages and the disadvantages of having this board, and, you know, kind of tried to compare it to some of the boards I had at that time. However, a lot of time has passed, and I think a lot of different new chessboards have come out since that time, and now I'm looking at it and reviewing it, and a lot of people online that have seen my initial review video of the King Performance board are still inquiring, like, do you think this is a great board? I've had some people say, I have a child that's wanting to get into chess, or they're already in chess and they're really loving it. I want to get them a board as a gift or something. Do you think the Millennium King Performance board is a great idea, something for my kid to play on? I'm thinking about getting it. What is your opinion? You know, and my opinion is, you know, it's a great board. Like, I've expressed my opinion before with regards to this product. It's made really well. It's quality. If you want to hear all the best things you can hear about this particular product, go to Chess House and read their review of this board. It's like, just, I mean, it sells itself, okay? But at the same time, I want to be kind of sort of honest with you guys, simply because I feel like, how much is this board right now? On Chess House, I believe it's $449. Possibly you might be able to save a few dollars here and there if they're throwing some kind of a clearance. I purchased mine on House of Staunton, and I believe with the clearances and the discounts, I may have paid like $400 or $380 for it at that time, but it's still quite a bit, okay? Why am I saying it? Well, let me give you a backdrop. My wife wanted to go to this pizza place that opened up recently in our neighborhood called La Rosa Pizzeria, and it from the outside looked like an awesome place. We didn't have the time, but eventually I took her there, and she was really, really excited. And we went in there, and the atmosphere was not so good, disappointing. The pictures on the walls that made it look like, or supposedly were made to make it look like authentic Italian place, just didn't seem to convince us that this is an overall Italian atmosphere. The people who worked there didn't really feel like you had the vibe that people didn't really want to be there. The pizza itself, now, you might love their pizza if you've had pizza there before. I've had other pizzas. Maybe my palate is different. I didn't really like it. Neither did my wife, neither did my kids. The sauce tastes kind of weird. The pizza was cut in weird squares, and it really tasted to me like high school pizza. It just wasn't a good atmosphere overall, and so my wife kind of hinted, and she said, this is kind of like Fazoli's. And I said, I've never been to Fazoli's. She's like, you didn't miss much. And then from that point, I'm like, yeah, okay, so I see what she means. So it wasn't that great, but the key point at the very end, the sort of the moral of the story is we ended up paying what we would have paid at a high-end restaurant. We go to Carrabba's, we go to P.F. Chang's, we go to some of these places where, you know, you're wine and dined. You have a great service and the food is excellent, you know? And because we paid pretty much the high price for our experience, in my mind, the expectation for the amount of money that we paid should have been up there in comparison to like some of the higher end restaurants. You have to agree with me, you know, if you're paying $2 for a place, then you should expect it to taste and feel like $2. But if you're paying, I think we paid like $65 for a pizza, a couple of drinks, and a couple of sides, then $65 is, you know, not $2, okay? And the same goes for here. This board right now is $449, and although if you read on Chess House, the description is, you know, very good. Just read the description and you'll be sold. I have to kind of talk about the things that in 2023 matter to me because I've had all these different boards, and maybe I'm just so spoiled that I'm gonna be nitpicky. But that's just my opinion. Like I said, I have nothing bad to say about the way the board is constructed, because the board was constructed to be made well, great quality material. It functions the way it should. It doesn't like disappoint. It's not defective in any way. And it's great. It does what it does. And there's nothing that I could be upset with this board for. However, in 2023, when we have the Chestnut Evo, when we have the Chestnut Air, Chestnut Pro, Chess Up, Square Off, you know, all these different companies, iChess1, we have new companies with new chessboards coming out almost every other month, okay? With all these capabilities that are basically competing against each other, this seems to be a little bit outdated. The fact that it doesn't have a battery in it, to me, even though I spoke about it before, like it may not necessarily be that much of a disadvantage, to me, in this day and age, if you're gonna have a board that sells for almost $500, I would expect it to have a battery, okay? That seems like it's not much to ask. A battery would make this board a lot more mobile. I would be able to take it anywhere. Secondly, the inability to connect online right out of the box is also a big minus, in my opinion. Like so many boards now, they're able to play online like right out of the box. That's why this one, along with the DGT Centaur, is not boards that I would recommend just simply for the reason that you can't play online. Therefore, yes, you can use it to play against the AI, and the AI in this board is excellent. It's you know, one of the best AIs that I've tried in an electronic board, but the fact that you can't play online right out of the box is already a disappointment for me. This is $100. In my opinion, you should get this for free with the product. At the least, you should get this for free when you buy the board, and you should get the additional $100 little battery block for free as well. If they have not taken the time to put it into the board, then they should at least provide it to you for free. Because this board is $450, this is $150. The additional little block is $100. That's $250 for accessories. In addition to the $450, that's $700. Lastly, for the fact that we're still seeing the fact that the way that this board is designed, anytime you want to make a move on the board, you have to physically press into every square. I'm pressing into the square where I'm starting to give the board an indication which piece I'm going to move. Then I'm gonna press the final square where I feel like the piece should move. I have to do the same thing not only for myself, but for the opponent as well. And the pressing in is actually kind of, you have to really push it in, because if you just gently press it, it's not going to respond. You have to press it in until you hear a beep, and then you press it to the other square until you hear a beep. The only advantage that I could see with doing that is that in some situations with electronic chessboards, and I mentioned this before, when you're pushing a piece, when you're sliding a pawn 2 squares forward, sometimes you forget that you're not supposed to slide those pawns, that you have to pick them up and put them down, because as you're sliding, it might record that you actually moved 1 square, and then even though you slid down to 2 squares in the initial move, it'll record that it will put your pawn on the first square. And then if you're playing online, you're like, dude, I did not mean to do that. And sometimes you can't take your move back and you're like, oh, that was frustrating. But that's not a big thing for me. It's not really something worthwhile. Most of the electronic boards, I will pick up a piece and put it down, especially the pawns, because I do know that there's that potential issue. Same goes with other pieces, in fact, like rooks and bishops and queens and things. When you're sliding with them on an electronic board, it could register that you slid down to a square that you really didn't, and then you're going to be disappointed. But like I said, it's not a really big deal. I would much rather trade the feature for having no pushing on these buttons, so I could have just a normal, like, modern way of playing, where the pieces are recognized with having sensors inside, because there's no sensors inside of these, not to my knowledge at least. In fact, you can take all the chess pieces off this board and play just simply by pushing the squares. Push here, push here. And the board doesn't care. It recognizes that you're playing with pieces because it doesn't know any better, okay? So, but I would much rather see in this board just the normal way that we've seen it with Chess Up or with Chestnut Air. Just use squares, recognize the squares, have a sensor inside, you know, that way you don't have to push those squares around. So $700 with accessories, the accessories that are not going to be like within the board, but you will actually have to connect the accessories, and then they're just going to be like laying on the side, so you have to have enough space on your table or whatever to make sure that you have the space for the accessories. And then at the end, you know, you're paying for not so much, okay? I know that Millennium is proud of their board, and I think this is an excellent board, and like I said, they did a great job. If this board came out in like early 2000s, which I don't know exactly the day or the year when this board came out, but if this board came out in early 2000s when we didn't have online chess or even online, yes, this board is excellent. Well-made wooden board with a fake wood on top for the squares. Beautiful layout of the buttons, looks like almost like a golden layout. You know, fantastic, beautiful board, you know, unbelievable, very nice, well worth its money. But we're in 2023, and it's kind of like when I go online and I'm looking for new games to play or something, and I Google, okay, best video games ever made. Okay, if you've ever done that before, you'd know what I'm talking about, because you'll get this list of 100 best video games ever made. And you look, and in the first 10, the best video games that have ever been made would be like Half-Life 1, and maybe like the original something, you know, and you look at it, Grim Fandango or whatever. Cool, okay, whatever. If you download that game right now and you play with it and you're like, wow, these graphics are terrible, the game is clunky, the controls are terrible, I don't know what I'm doing, what's going on. We are spoiled with video games being so advanced, so smooth, with such colorful, you know, picture, beautiful storyline nowadays. It's like, no, you're telling me that this is the best video game that's been ever made? Like, really? I mean, they're gonna say, well, but you know, this, you have to understand that this game came out in 1996 and it changed our game industry forever, you know. Yes, but if you're gonna tell me best video games in 2023, you know, don't include that the best video games ever been made. You have to take into account that, like, for 2023, you know, because we're comparing those to what's around currently, you know. And we're also comparing things for the price that they're being sold. If this board, the Millennium King board, was being sold on a discount for $100, then I could say, well, okay, you can't play online. It's okay, you have to push these buttons. And $100, I mean, it's not bad. It's still, but it's not going to be sold for $100. what I would probably recommend for the company, if the company wants to continue selling more of these boards, if I was like the director of the company, I would say, let's take from this particular model everything that people like: the quality of build, the wooden feel, the classical feel, the responsiveness, most importantly, the AI engine that's been designed specifically for this board that plays so beautifully and, you know, gives you such rich AI games. Let's take all the good things we like about it, and now let's essentially pull it all apart, and then what we'll do is we'll redesign the whole board. No more of this square pushing, a battery inside of the board, a module that allow you to play online, and better yet, a small LCD screen. That would be pretty nice too, kind of like what we've seen with the Chestnut Evo. And then sell it to us for, you know, $450 or $500, something like that. And then lastly, you know, upon redesigning this board, I would probably call it like Millennium King 2 or something like that. I mean, I'm sure that updates have been made, but they call it maybe a different board. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying that this particular board in 2023 is a little bit outdated. And I feel like if the company wanted to make sure that it's being most successful with their products and sell more products to people, they really should probably consider discontinuing the sales of this board unless they redesign it completely. Just because, in my opinion, now, like I said, the company itself might have a totally different opinion, and I do not mean to disappoint anybody or, you know, make them upset. I'm just speaking my own personal opinion because I've seen so many other chessboards, and because maybe I'm just kind of either well-rounded or you can call me spoiled. But I strongly feel that this board probably, if they are intending to sell more of these boards, they probably need to update it like from the ground up, okay? So, well, that's about really all I wanted to share with you guys. I hope I didn't take too much of your time, but as always, I'm very happy to be able to share things like this with you. And if you found this video interesting or helpful to you in any way, especially in your sort of journey to make a decision to purchase a chessboard, or if you just like watching my videos because you like watching them as much as I like to share this stuff with you, be sure to hit that like button. It really does help me in growing my channel, and I'm really happy and thankful to you everybody for continuing to show interest in my channel, continuing to show me that you care about the content that I make. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a great week. As usual, play more chess, stay mindful, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye bye.